Hello, Renee Flamand here. Look it. I put my Pink Floyd t-shirt on, so I put her in her tie-dye. And she is just chilling. I love you, sweetheart. You guys, how we know when it's really over with a narcissist is a question that we all go through that period, don't we? Because you have a lot of back and forth. You have a lot of back and forth. And I get asked that question a lot. Well, how do I know this is the last time? How do I know? How do I know when it's over? What are the signs? What am I looking for? What's said? What's done? What do I say? What do I feel? What does it feel like? How did you know when it was over, Renee? How did you know not to go back in again? How did you know that was the last time you cut him out? I get these questions a lot. And we have two people, right, for whom it's over. If there's a breakup, right? So the narcissist goes this way, you go this way. Regardless of who discards, that's 10 other videos, isn't it, right? Because that could be either one, but okay, so it's over. Or you're on a break now again, right? With all the back and forth, I know, but here it is again, right? So how do you know when it's really over for the narcissist? Or how do you know when it's really over for you in your heart? How do you know if it's over for both of you? You've reached its end. It's the end. There are so many things, and we're going to unpack them all, okay? Especially for new people, because I just feel like I know it. I talk to you. I read. I know. And you're in the thick of all that back and forth. And you don't know which end is up, and you don't know if it's, should I just let this breakup stick, or do I give it one more shot? And I don't understand. He came at me with all that. I get it. And it can be very confusing. Let's talk about him first and then you. My pronoun is him. When discussing, a narcissist partner, you insert whatever pronoun for you and make adjustments accordingly throughout. I always say that, okay? For him, okay, so he's a narcissist. So it wasn't really ever going to be anything real for him. I'm going to let that sink in for a second, because if you're new and going through it right now, I just broke your heart, and I'm sorry. And I don't mean to do that. I feel really bad if I did. It wasn't ever going to be anything real. If your person's a narcissist. I'm not diagnosing your person being a narcissist just because you're watching this channel. I think this channel is good even if you're not dating a narcissist, because we're all learning what to put in our pockets to build ourselves up, to not let anyone walk all over us, whether it be partner or in life or whatever. But if you're new and you're going through this right now and you maybe have never thought about that, it wasn't ever going to be anything real. So technically for the narcissist, it was over right away. But they love bombed you. You got into a relationship. They knew it was temporary the minute they entered, regardless of what they may have told you or themselves. But there are a few key moments where he does know it's over, meaning he will end up leaving you. And they all have to do with you seeing the real him. The narcissist cannot sustain a relationship wherein she has seen this bad side of him. Their ego needs you to be in awe all the time. Not sometimes, not all the time. Even in a fight, my narcissist would fashion himself and say, "You must love me so much, you're so mad." So he even enjoyed the fighting, because he made himself, he made his mind think that was proof that I loved him so much. I was a lunatic because I couldn't believe how he was behaving. But his narcissist brain turned that into, "You love me so much." Their ego needs you to be in awe of them. And they know if you caught them doing something, or even if you had a conversation, again, new people, and you worked it out, this is what I was saying before, and you think, all right, we're on the right track, we worked it out. The truth of the matter is that you will never see them the same way again. I don't care if you work it out and you're together another 20 years. You will never see, it's impossible. You can't unsee the damage they did to you. You can't unfeel the hurt they caused you. You can't unacknowledge the evidence you found of the betrayal, whatever it was, whatever narcissist it is, in whatever position they are in your life. You can't unsee the bad. So you'll never see them the same way again. You'll never rest in front of them again. You'll never be able to exhale and relax in front of them again and trust them implicitly. There's no way. You're going to go forward. Maybe you're going to try to pretend. You're going to try to get the trust back. You're going to go to count. You're going to do all those things. Okay, fine. That's fine. But you will never see them the same way again. Guess what? They know that. They know it. And they will bide their time at that point, from that moment on, when their mask falls off and they know that you saw the real them who hurt them. They will now bide their time with you while on the search for new supply that they can make swoon, so they can get that feeling from that person, because they're not going to get it from you. And you might come back with, but I love you so much, we can work it out. I promise it's going to be fine. We're going to work it out. You'll find yourself saying that. I did. My narcissist cried in front of me. You'll never see me the same way again. And he was pacing back and forth, shaking his head. You're never going to be like excited when I come in the door. You're just never going to look at me the same way again. That's what was upsetting him. And while I was watching him, I realized, yes, he's right. Okay. I didn't realize before I had read all about this disorder that it was because of a specific thing that he had going on inside of him. It had nothing to do with me. He just thought, wow, this one was really enthusiastic about what kind of person I was, and I just doused it, and I'll never get that again from her. And boom, they're on the hunt for something else. So they know it's over the second you see their truth. The second you see their true side, they know at some point they will be, even if they don't part ways with you, in their mind, they will be on the hunt and looking to encounter another person's company. For you, how do you know when it's over with all the back and forth? You actually wonder, how do I know which time is the final back and forth that there'll be no more back or forth? I can tell you that there's a shift. You'll feel it. After all the effort, the toil, the realizations, the sleepless nights, the crying, you'll begin to shed all of that. You'll go through all of those things with all of the back and forth, and finally with one of the offs where you're like, we're done again. There's always back and forth, so I'm assuming that's what you're having. You'll realize that you didn't even cry. I didn't even cry. The last handful of many times I was with, I didn't cry. And then when they, think about the last time let's use physicalness, you're in the doorway and they left your house. Whether you're in a parking lot and you both got in cars, or you're at his house. I'm saying, though, for this story, at that moment, you feel like relief. If your narcissist walks away from you and gets into their car and drives away, and you go, oh, because you're excited that he's not there anymore, because you can breathe for an hour, or relax now, or try to get your life in order, and you just broke up with them, and you actually feel like, that's over. That's a good sign. They may come back with you at midnight with 40 messages and try to sway you overnight and love bomb the death out of you and have you changing your mind by morning. But if you're feeling pretty good about it, you can tell. Because in back and forth, when you have a break and you didn't want it, you're in your heart, you're on the phone with them, you're trying to work it out in between, you're not accepting the break yourself, you're hoping he's crying. There's a shift. You don't care if he's crying. You don't care if he's upset. You suddenly don't wonder what he's thinking about doing. You don't care what he's doing. You give it no thought. You've moved on to your life. You find yourself spending time on your activities. Not checking what he's doing, wondering what he's doing, talking about what he's doing. You'll find yourself waking up, going and getting coffee, and doing other things and not worrying about them. You'll stop checking your phone. It's a shift. How do you know when it's time to make that? Or how do you know when it's coming about? Go by how you feel every time you get back together and every time you break up. If every time you get back together, you're feeling a further and further feeling of dread, like, oh, here I am again, it failed last time, that's probably not a good sign. It's probably a good sign that it's probably over and you shouldn't go back in. People that go back in and have it work out successfully, I'm hoping and thinking go in with the headspace of, I really loved her once, we've worked out our issues, we've grown up, we're older, we're reuniting, we're respecting each, you know what I mean? They go at it in a healthy way, not like, ugh. Like if you have dread in your heart, it might be a sign that it's over. If their presence makes you feel stressed and anxious, that's a huge sign that it should be over. Not telling you to leave, that's not what I mean. But the question is, how do you know when it's really over? If they cause you to be stressed all the time, 1,000% not a way to live. If you never again have ever reached or found that joyful spot with them that you had during the love bombing, which may have lasted 3 weeks, 3 months, 4 weeks, 5 days, you're on the hunt for that, but you never reach it, you're always anxious and a wreck, that's kind of a big sign that if you're teetering, that's kind of a big sign that it's over, because it's very, very difficult, if not impossible, to ever come back from that. If somebody puts you in the place of being a wreck, they've already done the infractions to make you a wreck. You can't trust them. You can't believe a word they say. You're sitting there a wreck all the time. There's nothing they can say or do right then, that night, that day, that week, that month that's going to make you different. Time and action are the only things that you can now take from the narcissist to have them prove anything. Well, they never give the time or the action for any length of time to show and prove anything worthy of us, in my opinion. They'll do a good act. Oh, it didn't work? Okay, they're on to the next. No. Time and action, right? I mean, I just feel like when you start to feel that you're a wreck all the time, you know nothing they can do to snap you out of it because you know the truth, that is your truth staring at you in the face. It's sad to think we're not going to make it. Never Gonna Say Goodbye by Gladys Knight. You guys know I love that song. It's sad to think. You did all that work, and I get it. So you hang on and you hope. We did all this work. We've come all this way. Did you come a lot of way? Did you? Did the narcissist come a long way? Come a long way means what? They did something bad, you worked it out, and you had a few good months of good times. That's working it out. That's coming a long way. He's come a long way. He's playing. He hasn't come anything along. Nothing. He's still doing infractions to you. You just haven't caught him. Or he's behaving and biding his time until he feels the need to reach out to Old Supply, which we've talked about very recently. I just feel I want everyone to be aware, because that is a tough spot when it is back and forth and they're hoovering you and you really were hanging on to hope and you get very confused. You've made the decision, you're going to leave. Okay, we've left, we've broken up. Boom, he's hoovering you. Now you're thinking, wait, is this the last time? What's the sign? You're looking for signs in the universe. Should I get back with him one more time? Maybe this will be the time. Or was the breakup the final breakup? Or should that be the time? Or which is meant to be? What do I do? It's very confusing. If you listen to yourself and use your own intuition and be honest with how you feel when you're around that person, these things will lead you to whether or not you know it's over. How do you feel when you get back together with them? How do you feel when you break up again? Are you getting more and more towards relief when the breakups happen and less towards the excited when the reunitings happen? You got to be honest about what's in front of you. But there is a shift. You will feel it, and you will know. There's nothing this person will ever say to me that will ever bring me back from the brink of despair and pain and anger that I'm sitting in. There's nothing they will ever say. And you'll know it. You'll know it. And that's when, I guess, when the hope leaves. Maybe that's the answer. When the hope leaves. When it's no more. Like, at some point, I definitely was like, this man has no hope. There's no hope. He's never going to give me what I want. He's never going to be what I want. He's never going to make me unsee all the bad. He's never going to undo the pain. This is a hopeless situation. And that prevented me from going back from that point further. Once I made that realization that it was a hopeless situation, it made it very clear to me that it was no more. It was over. That was part of the shift. And then you start to very easily live your own life. It becomes clarity. There's a lot of power that comes with clarity. There's a lot of power. So I ask you to examine how you feel with each back and forth. I asked you to examine your expectations from the relationship when you're getting back together. Do you expect something different than before that's unrealistic, that he couldn't give you before, that he's promising you that he's going to give you now, even though now we know they never deliver? That's a false promise. That's a bribe. So you got to look at all of it. I wish you luck. It's a tough spot, and I don't envy you. But you can do it. Just look at everything, and the most important thing is be honest with yourself when asking you the question, is this really over? All the information you need is right in front of you. Chin up. Please go ahead and hit sub, like, and share, and I'll see you next time.